So, are you looking for ways to fill your pipeline with warm leads? I know lots of people that are doing that. So, if you're interested in finding out, hang around because my awesome guest is going to share some information about that. But before I bring Bob on, here's a note from our sponsor. So my guest, who you'll meet shortly, did you know he was the first person or one of the first people or in a group of the first people on LinkedIn in 2002? Literally, he was. He joined in December 2002 when LinkedIn was just a few months old, and he's never looked back. He's an award-winning salesperson. He's utilized LinkedIn and social selling even before social selling was a thing. Bob has also trained and coached sales professionals around the world at companies big and small to effectively use LinkedIn and other tools to start sales conversations with qualified buyers. Specific companies where he has trained salespeople and teams include Experian, Penn Mutual, State Street, Pfizer, I might have got this one wrong, Trios, and UPS. If you could applaud everybody as I bring Bob on, that'd be great. Welcome, Bob, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Coach Phil. I most definitely appreciate it.
Just so people know that how we got connected is you're one of my team, or you're one of my coaches on Social
Excellent.
Sales Link. And my LinkedIn profile and information is improving, is vastly improved from where I was before. So I thought it was really important to introduce you guys to the world. We've had Bill, one of your partners, on a couple of months ago, but I thought, you guys are so good. Everybody needs to hear who you are. So there's a little part. Do you know Randy Chaffee?
Do I know Randy Chaffee? I do not believe I do know Randy Chaffee. Randy, if you want to reach out to me via LinkedIn and connect with me, and actually anybody else who's listening too, please feel free to do that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So Randy Chaffee, I met him because of the changes last whenever it was 18, 19 months ago when we were in lockdown and the globe was under seized by this crazy, look, he's going to do that. And we became part of a group called the Megamind. And that's actually how I met one of your associates. Maybe you know her, Bryn Tillman. So
yes, know her well.
That's how I got connected here, was because of connections socially. So what better way and what better person to have on here other than your partners is you, because all three of you are pretty fantastic.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We try, we strive to help as many people as we're able to, especially nowadays. You had mentioned the pandemic before, and now we've got this new thing that's spreading like wildfire, evidently. And at one point, I think we all thought that we're going to get back into our offices and everything's going to be perfect and copacetic, and it's not working out to be like that so much. Very unfortunately true too.
I hate to use a new normal, but with our world has changed, and I guess it's like whenever you somebody I met in the physical space when I was volunteering at something hockey related, and he's retired now, but at the time he was the product development VP of this particular company. And I've never forgotten this. He says, the bell once rung can never be unheard. So COVID has been here. We've experienced it. It can never not be unexperienced. So moving forward, we're creating a new normal and a new way of doing things and having social presence, whether it's on LinkedIn or other platforms. Because I know within this week, you were promoting this show through a variety of different channels, which I thought, wow, this is pretty fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, social is the new conversation, and that's one of the things that with you being in our weekly group coaching, we teach about conversations and starting conversations that will hopefully lead to sales when the time is right. But it's all ultimately about being social and having conversations.
Yeah. And, I do this live stream on a regular basis. I didn't do plug for it this morning, but I will later on. And I typically do them Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and 2 out of the 3 have guests. And one thing I know is, even though I may not get interaction like what's going on here with the Marks and the Randys showing up and watching the show, is I know that clients and prospective clients of mine have seen what we've been doing. And you just never know. I had another fellow who shared some feedback from somebody. I don't even know who they were, but he shared their testimony about how good this was and put me in the same ranks as Jeffrey Gittimer. And I'm going, "Ooh, wow, isn't that amazing?" I don't even know who she is, but I'm grateful that she saw that from doing these things socially.
Rarefied air there, definitely. That's fantastic.
So 2002, has there been some changes since?
Yeah, 1 or 2, not a lot. Oh my God, have there been changes? Yeah. So when I first joined, and probably for the first couple of years after that, LinkedIn was essentially what I call a baseball card collecting platform, and unfortunately, people still do that today. But what I mean by baseball card collecting, is that you go out and you just try to link with as many people as possible so that your numbers go up. And it was mainly ego driven back then. But then LinkedIn started doing some new things with it, both on the career side and on the sales side too. So it jumped into careers, and especially helping HR professionals and recruiters find talent out there. And that's where it's still known for, probably more widely than it is for sales. But in the sales side, what they did was they started offering a new platform called Sales Navigator. And that was really designed for sales professionals to go out there and find new prospects so that they could eventually turn them into clients. And even Sales Navigator has grown with its features just exponentially since back then. And nowadays, if you're really committed to social selling and prospecting, because it's not really prospecting. Some people abuse it, but anyhow, via LinkedIn, Sales Navigator is the best way to do it, just because of all of the added tools and functionality that it has over LinkedIn.com. So it's for salespeople who are using it seriously, who are using LinkedIn seriously in general. When you get to that point and you're feeling like, oh, this LinkedIn stuff isn't working, how do I take it to the next step? Sales Navigator is the next step.
Whoops, almost pushed the wrong button. Hang on.
There we go.
Yeah, I prefer this view.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to this platform. I mean, as there is in a variety of different other social media platforms. But we're specifically talking about this particular one today.
Yep.
I'm going to bring up your website here shortly, so we can have a peek at some of the ways. The way it kind of looks at the way you've set it up, give people examples. But I want to acknowledge Randy here, because he wrote a lot of words, and he said it's been a major hybrid for him. 12 months ago was all virtual. Last few more face to face. I've actually seen him on social media, both in LinkedIn and other platforms. Who knows where we go from here? You're right, because I don't have a crystal ball. But one of the things that I think it was Walt Disney said, if you want to, how does he say it? If you want to see your future, invent it, dream it, make it happen.
Yep. That's what Epcot was all about.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. Some really good feedback. So I'm going to bring up your website here.
Okay.
Share the screen. See what happens. So there we are.
There it is.
There's a good look at what you've done. So you've got the header at the top here with the 2 mugs and the fists, and there's your picture.
If you could scroll up just a little bit more, just so they could see the top. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Oh yeah, I was cutting it off. Good thing.
Yep.
So you want to talk about the header a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So the header is probably one of the most underused areas when it comes to branding. So we encourage that people do something like this, and I mean something very. I put the word "something" in air quotes because there are so many different things that can be done with the header, but we advise to at least have some type of photo or some type of artwork that conveys what it is you do, and then at least include the company's logo in there as well. So we have a couple of other things in there, and the and obviously the two coffee mugs coming together signifies that, you know, that we teach LinkedIn and that we know about LinkedIn. So that's the type of feel that we're going with there specifically. But generally speaking, I mean, it obviously it doesn't have to be like this, and I've seen so many other uh, banners that are really communicative of what it is that the person does and their brand, and it looks nothing like this. So it's kind of tough to put guidelines to it.
Yeah.
But if you just think of it in that overall sense, it should be something, and I do mean something in air quotes like this.
So really, it would you say it needs to be kind of like a newspaper or magazine headline, some sort of hook that brings people in to want to read more, check you out?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually call this entire section the top of the fold, which, if you remember newspapers, and hopefully some of the older people out there will remember newspapers, newspapers were designed to have the most eye-catching and important news always above the fold, because that's how people saw it when it landed on their doorsteps or in newspaper machines or whatever, so that people, if there were machines, they would plunk their quarters in, and nothing costs a quarter anymore, but they would put their quarters in and get the latest edition of the newspaper. So the banner is definitely part of that. The photo, believe it or not, is also a big part of it, because studies have shown, and this number always gets updated, but I think the last thing that I saw was that people are 14 times more likely to click into a LinkedIn profile when there is a photo of the person attached.
14x.
14x, not 14%, 14 times more likely. So having a good quality photo up there is absolutely huge. So as you can see with mine there, I mean, you know, we can argue about the actual face and stuff like that of mine, but we do encourage that people zoom in on their face as much as possible without it being too big. And the reason behind that is that the way that you see the photo there is the largest that you will ever see it on LinkedIn. It normally gets shrunk down, you know, like half its size and maybe even more depending on where you're at. So it's important that people do see what you look like, even, or get a good idea of what you look like, even when it's shrunk down. So that's just to let people know that there is a human there, and you know, that someone is actually behind the profile, and it's not just a generic profile, which unfortunately some people still do out there. And I think that drives that 14 times as well.
Yeah, I think the other thing with your photo, which is a really good example of what to do, that was professionally taken, right? It wasn't just a camera shot.
Yeah, that was professionally taken. I actually put the white background in there, but that was professionally taken. There are tools out there, specifically Canva, to where you can do some manipulation of the background. And unfortunately, that's in the paid version of Canva, but you can remove backgrounds and things like that too. So if for whatever reason you're unable to get a professional shot done, just make sure that you have it taken against a nondescript, if not white, then a light background, just so it'll stand out more.
And focus on the head is what I heard you say.
And focus on, yeah, definitely focus on the head. And, you know, let's say you get a shot that is, you know, like from here down farther. When you upload it to LinkedIn, there is a tool in there that you can zoom in on your head too. So it doesn't necessarily have to be square like that before you upload it. You can, LinkedIn does have tools to improve what that looks like.
And I'm going to, since we're on the top of above the fold right now, the green dot means you're online, right?
Yes.
Now, if I scroll over your picture, I get it's hyperlinked there. It's anything happen if I do that?
Yeah, so that is a new feature
Let's
that has
try it.
come to LinkedIn. What you can do with that is you can record up to a 30-second video of honestly whatever you want it to be. It should be something that talks about the value that you bring to people who visit to your profile, but theoretically it could be about anything. And then what happens is when someone mouses over that and clicks on it.
I'm going to
Go
try
ahead.
that. See if we can make
Why
that.
don't you try that? Let's give this a try.
Hi, I'm Bob Woods, LinkedIn and social selling strategist from Social Sales Link.
And why don't you scroll down just a little bit too?
Programs are effective, productive, and successful in getting you or your sales team to master social selling for business development. I also lead our LinkedIn profile makeover services. I'll help you or your entire sales team make over your profile so that you can start more targeted sales conversations with the people who visit your profile. Let's talk soon.
How long was that?
So it has to be a maximum of 30 seconds. One thing that I discovered is that I actually did it and it came in at 30, and for some reason it didn't let me upload it even though it was 30. So I would suggest actually hitting 29 seconds rather than 30 seconds because I had to go back and do a little bit of editing to trim it back a little bit. And just so that people know, in that video you saw the animation down at the bottom. That was also done in Canva. So that's canva.com. Canva is a wonderful tool. It's got a lot of stuff in the free version that you could use, but if you want to upgrade to premium, I don't remember how much it costs, but it's not that expensive, and they do it by month as well. And excuse me, just the amount of resources you have to do not only graphics, but as you saw their video as well, is just tremendous. Our social media team uses Canva exclusively, and we pump out a lot of video and a lot of audio. And I think about 80% of the production that they do is in Canva. There's another tool that they have to use for some pretty involved stuff, but I think that for a vast majority of people out there, using Canva for video and for graphics, you'll be sent.
Cool.
You'll be set. I mean, yes.
Here we thought we're just going to hear about social sales link and using LinkedIn and social, but we're hearing a whole bunch of other stuff. There's another link down here. This is something again that's different, isn't it?
Yeah, that is yeah, so that is the name pronunciation tool that they rolled out, I think about a year or two ago. And that was intended for people who have more difficult names to actually record themselves saying their own name and then putting it out there. So the thing is, you get 10 seconds worth of audio. Okay. So what we teach is to say your name first, because that's what it's there for originally. So even if you have the world's simplest name to say, like mine, you should still say your name. But then if you want to have like a little 5 to 6 second tag after that, go ahead and just put that in as well. It's another branding opportunity. You can never have enough branding opportunities. I don't know.
I'm going to play it.
Fire it up.
Bob Woods, LinkedIn coach and trainer with instructor-led coaching for groups and individuals delivered remotely.
You can cram a lot into that 10 seconds.
You can cram a lot into that 10 seconds, especially if you've got a short name like me or like you, Phil.
Yeah. And actually, yours is easy to say. People get mine wrong. So I actually have it without I'm going to need to add on to a little bit of an information bit on it. I just have my name in there because a lot of people don't get jokes properly. They look at it and go Gilkeys or all sorts of different things. So
what is your name? Let's just hear it.
It's if you were to spell it,
it looks like Gilkeys.
Yeah, no, that's not right. It's Jilx. It's how it sounds. Jokes.
Yeah, jokes. Yep.
Yeah. But if you
I knew that, but sometimes people don't know that, and that's one of the reasons why that's there.
That's right. And if you had a Y or an R in it, then the English language changes it from a soft G to a hard G, and now it's Gilker. So yeah, like you said, people have challenging names, and if you have a short name like yours or mine, we can put a little bit of more information in there. So I just want to make sure we don't miss any of these tips, because we're not here all day, not here for an hour even. And I know you have a ton of content that you can do. Matter of fact, there's some stuff you have for free, but I don't know where to point. Oh, it's right here.
Yep.
Socialsaleslink.com library. I should have put that in the banner, but I didn't.
Library. Yeah.
But it's up here. You can watch it on the video. Copy
There's
this.
a ton of information in that library, and it's absolutely free.
I'm going to take this off just for a minute, and
Sure.
Remove and bring us back together. Speaking of content and things that you do, you have something on Monday. What do you do on Monday? Motivation Monday, or what's it called on Monday? With the three.
So that's actually part of something new that we just brought out. So we just started a podcast that's available on all of the major podcast providers called Making Sales Social. So what that involves is we actually drop, as the cool kids say, we drop 2 episodes per week into this Making Sales Social live channel. One of those is an interview that we do with sales and marketing leaders in the industry. So if you want to hear from them and all of the great tips and strategies that they have, you can do that. The part that Phil was talking about, though, is what we call Making Sales Social Live. And that's when myself, Bryn Tillman, and Bill McCormick get on actually StreamYard, just like this right now. We have a subject. We go out live to LinkedIn and to YouTube, and we just talk for 15 to 20 minutes and about a particular topic revolving around LinkedIn and or social selling or virtual selling, and we just go ahead and have a conversation about it. And while we're having that conversation, we do give out tips, tricks, and strategies. Say that 3 times fast. Tips, tricks, and strategies to help people out when it comes to sales professionals when they use LinkedIn for social selling.
Excellent. And I was going to get to the podcast, but you already talked about it. So that's okay, because that was just launched recently.
That's just the way I think.
And that's totally all right. As long as the information gets out there, because you guys, like I said earlier on in the live stream today, is that you personally are a wealth of knowledge. I mean, being involved with LinkedIn since 2002 and seeing the few changes that have happened over the course of the time.
1 or 2.
Right? And then you guys are so creative and innovative that you're not only talking about LinkedIn strategies via LinkedIn, but using also some other platforms. And I know that, and I forget exactly the shows and the times, but I know you probably do. For those of you who are on Clubhouse or know what that is, you can hang out with Bob and his partners at different times on different days. I believe you guys are still doing Clubhouse.
Yeah, so we are normally on at 4 p.m. Eastern Time US on Clubhouse in the Thought Leadership Branding channel, and that's where Brent and I, along with some other LinkedIn experts, we all get together and we answer questions. We talk about the latest things on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, we get into some pretty philosophical discussions as well. Like last week, or on the very last one, we actually talked more about just social selling and what that means to people. And it was really interesting because everybody kind of landed in the same area, but people had slightly different takes on it. And it was just really interesting to hear from other sales professionals, as well as from, other LinkedIn specialists and practitioners like myself, just what they think about it. And it's just really added to the conversation. And one thing that we're always trying to do in that Clubhouse is to expand the thinking of those who are attending. And last week we had like 30 or 40 people in that Clubhouse room at one point, and the conversation was just really great. So if you're on Clubhouse, which now you can get to it on iPhone or on Android, but it is a mobile only thing, look up Thought Leadership Branding and subscribe to that. or follow that, or I forget what word they use. But and then you'll be alerted to all of the LinkedIn and social selling related types of discussions that are going on. And we are on Sundays at 4:00 Eastern US.
Perfect. And just that for those people that don't know what Clubhouse is, you won't see him. You won't see anybody. You'll be able to hear them. You'll be able to have a conversation if they allow you to come up and be into the speaker space, depending on the rules of the room that you're in. And I think they've recently added a chat feature to it, which I have not used. But you won't see anybody. It's strictly conversation. It's like being on a telephone with a whole bunch
literally talking heads.
That's exactly right.
But the heads aren't actually talking. You just kind of see, just a bunch of heads staring off into space, basically. But there are people behind it.
Yeah. Is there anything else on your website that you want me to share with people that would be relevant?
If you want to show them podcasts really quick, so socialsaleslink.com/podcast singular.
Hang on. I typed slow. Social selling.
Socialsaleslink.com.
Look now everybody's gonna know how bad I am at typing. There's a podcast right there. There it is. I'll share that screen now.
So if y'all are podcast listeners, you see that line right below our huge bodies on that page there. We're on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and Overcast, along with some other ones too, but we only had room for 5, so we put those 5 up there too. Go ahead and subscribe. You'll get 2 new episodes every single week about that.
And maybe because people know who you are, and we've talked about the other people, maybe you could just put the names to faces.
Sure. So I'm on the left side. Bryn Tillman is in the middle, and Bill McCormick is on the right hand side. So having 3 people with the name with the first letter of their names being B can be kind of fun sometimes.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. So this is also your website as well, is it not?
Yes. Yeah. Socialsaleslink.com. So that does show our programs that we have. We train both in individuals like Phil as well as take on full corporate engagements too with sales teams and even entire companies.
Yeah. Terrific. And the thing that really pulled me to you guys was your philosophy. None of you have said his name, Dale Carnegie, but your approach is about building relationship, trust, and respect with people, which was kind of like Mr. Carnegie, his human relations approach. How to win friends and influence people. I feel that that's the experience that I get working with you guys, and the technical knowledge and the passion that the 3 of you have is it's actually wonderful. It's amazing.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah. So we are all about it. It basically comes down to authenticity.
Yeah.
Being authentic, not being out there being the typical used car salesman. This is nothing against, I'm talking about the image of used car salesman being that, hey, how you doing? What can I do to put you into a car today type of thing. We are not about that in our training at all. It's all about building it's about being authentic so that you can eventually build yourself up as a trusted thought leader, someone that when other people look at you, they will hopefully think, I really do trust this person because this person is looking out for me, which we do for our clients, and we train our clients to do that as well for their prospects and clients.
Right. And the other thing I'm going to add to that is, being that I'm on LinkedIn, I do get, and I don't even like the word pitch, and I'm in the sales training and business coaching space. And I work and coach and teach people that I work with. Stop pitching people. Unless you're playing baseball or playing soccer on a pitch, don't pitch. People don't like to be pitched. People don't like to be sold, but they do love to buy. So one of the things that I see that's prevalent within social media, it's not just LinkedIn. It's the hurry up and let's get married right away. So they connect and pitch. And it's amazing how many people do that, which is what I like about you guys, is you guys don't do that. You're all about leading with value, building the trust, building the rapport, and providing solutions. So that's why it resonates with me. There's a couple of comments here. I don't know who they are because I think StreamYard you have to tell StreamYard who you are to give permission. So I can't give kudos to whoever this is, but we can have
appreciate that, LinkedIn user.
Yes.
But seriously though, very appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to bring another comment up here. It's LinkedIn user again. Oh, look at that! I get kudos too.
You get kudos. Well, you deserve. This is your show. It's
Well, I appreciate
my
that.
job to make you look good. So yeah, I definitely like hearing that.
Well, you're talented. It's easy to make me look good, and I thank you for that.
Oh, sure.
And thank you, LinkedIn user. I mean, there's a ton of stuff they can do if they want to reach out to you. I'm going to put up the banner that has your website. We've already kind of showed that, but I will put up one more time at the bottom. So there's a website, socialsaleslink.com. And if you wanted to reach out to Bob, if you haven't signed up and connected with him or invited to connect on LinkedIn, do so now. And
please do so. Yeah.
And if you don't want to do that and you just want to send an email and tell him how great he fixed his shiny spot. He's got this special makeup. I learned this was in the green room while we're having the non-calorie diet donuts. And you drink bourbon? Is that what it was?
Yeah, well, among other things, yeah. So I live in Kentucky, although I'm not originally from Kentucky. We've lived here for 8 years now, and I was actually drinking bourbon before I got here. But once you get here, you're just you are literally immersed in a lake of bourbon, and you learn really quick on what to look for, the process, and everything else. It's a very cool state in general, and we have a ton of distilleries around here that are very educational and also produce good bourbon if you're into that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, I'm Canadian, so I don't drink bourbon. And actually,
probably a little more expensive up there too.
It probably is. Yeah, probably is. You know, I want to say thank you to you being here. Is there a word of wisdom that you would like to share before we end today's live stream?
Yeah, just be authentic. If you're seriously thinking about doing social selling, or even if you're not, if you're doing sales, and I hate to call it the old-fashioned way because some of that stuff still works. It's not like, you know, I personally always say that social selling should be a tool in your tool belt, a pretty major tool, but you do have other tools there. So that's probably one thing. And the other thing is just, you know, be authentic. Don't do unto others which you wouldn't want to have done unto you. And that gets into the pitching thing, and just some of the things that happen on LinkedIn that we look at and we just go, oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah. So don't be that person. Be authentic. Build trust. The sales will come when the time is right.
Excellent. I see there's a few more comments. Let me see what they're saying.
Yeah.
Before we say goodbye. Oh, there we go. I wonder if that's Skip.
I'm guessing that's Skip.
We're going to say it's Skip because
we're going to assume it's Skip. Hey, Skip.
And Ron Goodwin, who's in Massachusetts area. Authenticity wins every time. Yeah, totally. Met him through same place I'm through Jeffrey Gittimer, where I met Bryn.
Oh, okay, great.
It's social. It works, man. So I'm going to sign off because I promised you it was going to be about 30 minutes. And we had a bit of a hiccup in the delay, but being the trooper that you are, you helped me get through it, and away we went.
Got it in. That's good.
I'll see you in a few minutes. Well, that was a ton of stuff, right? I mean, Bill had great information, his partner, and Bob had some excellent information. And if you haven't connected with him yet, I encourage you to do that. If you liked what you saw here and you're seeing this in the replay, let us know where you're from and go #replay. That would be fantastic. If you like what this is about, subscribe to my YouTube channel. We'd welcome that. And if you know of somebody who has a story or a message or information that you would like to get out there, my information is right here. Just send me an email, let me know, and be happy to have a conversation and get them scheduled for a spot on the Business Renovator sometime in the next couple of months. Until we meet again, I'm just going to bring up one other thing. if it's still there. One of my mentors many years ago, decades actually, was a fellow that was teaching things in advance of where we are today. He was teaching the law of attraction and that sort of thing way back in the 80s when I first met him. And one of the things that stuck with me, and I want to have it live on in his legacy, is if you see there, it says wonderful. And it's not spelled with an O, it's spelled with a U, because you are wonderful. Now go act like it. Till next time.